Why do I always feel like I'm not enough? Is it wrong to feel jealous? Why does her success make me feel small? How do I find contentment with my life, my body, gifts, or the season I'm in? How can I stop comparing myself to other women, especially those who seem more spiritual, successful, or put together? If you've ever struggled with these questions, this episode is for you. We're diving into something that I think a lot of us deal with more than we like to admit: comparison and insecurity. Let's go. Hey there. Are you a Christian woman who's ready to strengthen your faith and stop the madness in your mind? The worry, doubt, anxiety. Do you want something more for your life but are not sure where to even begin? You've come to the right place. Hi, I'm Kristin Campbell. I'm excited that you're here as we journey together to discover mindset renewal and empowered faith for the Christian woman. Whether it's scrolling social media or looking around at other moms or ministry leaders, or even just walking into a room of confident women, comparison can sneak in fast. And when it does, it often leaves us feeling like we're not enough. And I want to start by saying this: you are not the only one. Even the women you admire, yes, even those women, they struggle with comparison and insecurity. I've had my moments. I've sat in rooms with amazing, gifted women and thought, who am I to be here? I've scrolled through social media and found myself shrinking inside, wondering why I don't have what she has, or why her life looks so much more together than mine. And it feels like a private, harmless thought, but that's the trap. Comparison has real nasty consequences if we let it take root. And I held off airing this episode until the end of August because for so many of us, this is our new year. Not January, but the start of school. And if you know, social media is flooded right now with all the things that scream at us the big old lie: you are not enough. Comparison majorly flares up this time of year. So let's talk about what comparison does to us. First off, it steals our joy. It makes us blind to what God has given us because we're too focused on what he gave someone else. And remember, the enemy comes to steal from us. He wants us to miss the goodness of God in our lives by keeping us preoccupied with what's going on in Susie Q's life. Comparison also breeds resentment, sometimes towards others, but more often toward ourselves or even toward God. We begin to agree with the lie that we missed out, that we messed up, or are lacking somehow. And then we allow bitterness to take root in our lives. Comparison distorts our identity. We start seeing ourselves through this distorted lens of false expectations instead of through the lens of truth, the lens of who God says we are. We begin to believe the lie that something other than our Creator can define us best. Here's the thing. When we compare, we almost always come up short in our minds. We highlight their apparent strengths and laser focus in on our weaknesses. That's not from God. So why do we do this? Comparison is often rooted in insecurity, in a quiet fear that we're not good enough, we're not doing enough, we're not measuring up. Yet the standards that we are going against are not set by the Lord, but by the world. And the world loves to keep us in comparison, to keep us locked up in insecurity. And sometimes that insecurity comes from wounds, from words that were spoken over us, from rejection that we experienced, or lies that we've believed, some even since we were young. And sometimes the insecurity stems from perfectionism or an attempt to earn the love or approval of other people. And sometimes we're just tired, emotionally drained. That constant striving, it's exhausting. When we're weary, we're more vulnerable to believe the lies. And when we believe that there's not enough love, attention, or success to go around, then we begin to view others as our competition. And we begin to agree with the lie, there's no room for you. Well, I'm done agreeing with lies. Are you? Let's look at the truth about what God says about you. Psalm 139:14 says, "You are fearfully and wonderfully made." Not fearfully and comparably made, but wonderfully made, intentionally designed, intricately woven. All your unique quirks are awesome, and they're for a divine purpose. We're told that we are God's workmanship, his masterpiece created in Christ Jesus for good works. That's in Ephesians 2:10. There is only one you. That means you're not behind. You are the only one who can live your life. You're not late or anything. You're not a mistake. You're handcrafted for a purpose only you can fulfill. Isaiah 43:1 tells us we're chosen. We're called by name. We're seen. Listen, your value, that isn't up for debate. Your value doesn't diminish just because someone else shines. Others' success does not threaten your significance. And others' beauty doesn't diminish your worth. Others' callings, they can't cancel out yours. Look, there's room for you at the table. In fact, your seat was made just for you. Our God is one of abundance, not lack. He's limitless. We're told in 2 Corinthians 9:8, and God is able to make all grace, every favor, and earthly blessing come in abundance to you, so that you may always, under all circumstances, regardless of the need, have complete sufficiency in everything, being completely self-sufficient in him and having an abundance for every good work and act of charity. There is no lack. You are being lied to. So, what can we do about this? I want to give you some practical ways that you can start breaking free from comparison. And it's going to start first by noticing your triggers. Pay attention to when you're most likely to compare. Is it social media? Is it related to specific people or situations? Because once you know the pattern, you can interrupt it. But you need to be honest with yourself. Now, too often, we lie to ourselves about our ability to stay off social media or to avoid certain situations. You really need to ask, how important is this to you to break free from? Because something's got to go. And then you want to talk to God about it. Don't stuff it down. Bring it into the light. The enemy loves to lurk in the dark corners of our minds, and he lies to us. It's not a big deal to think this. Yes, it is. Bring it to the light. Lord, I'm feeling less than. I know feelings aren't facts, but help me to see myself the way that you do. And then you want to speak the truth over yourself. Have go-to scriptures or biblical affirmations ready. Say this all the time. Post-it notes, index cards, put it on your phone. Have them ready. You might want to put down, I am enough in Christ. That's from 2 Corinthians 12:9. I am blessed, Deuteronomy 28:6. I am provided for, Philippians 4:19. You build up this biblical foundation of who you are in Christ, and you stand firm in that truth. And then here's the big one. You want to bless, not compete. When you see and admire something in another woman, bless them. Celebrate her instead of shrinking yourself. We were designed for community. We need one another to be successful in our God-given purpose. There are blessings that are found in unity. Psalm 133 tells us that. We're also told to encourage one another. 1 Thessalonians 5:11. We're told to love one another. John 13:34. We're told to serve one another. 1 Peter 4:10. We're told to comfort one another. 1 Thessalonians 4:18. Nowhere are we told to compare with one another or to compete with one another. We need to change that narrative from comparison to celebration. And we can do this a little bit easier when we begin to practice gratitude. So when you feel that comparison creeping in, pause right there and then, list 3 things that you're grateful for, because gratitude is going to refocus you. Neurologically, our brains cannot simultaneously entertain negative thoughts, such as comparison or anxiety, and positive thoughts, such as gratitude. It's got to be one or the other. And Philippians 4:8 enforces this by telling us to think on things that are praiseworthy, that are lovely, that are excellent. All of those things you are. If you can begin to practice seeing the goodness of God in your life every single day, it's going to be easier to celebrate the goodness of God in other people's lives as well. Friend, comparison will always tell you you're not enough. But God's truth says you're already more than enough in Him. Let that woman shine. Let her bloom. And then you do the same. You don't have to shrink. You don't have to strive. You don't have to compare. There is room at God's table. Your race is your own to run. No one else can run it. No one else is qualified to. And your worth, come on, that's unshakable. That's been set in stone for all eternity in Christ Jesus. So today, walk in confidence, not because you're perfect, but because you are perfectly loved by a God who created you on purpose, for a purpose. So if this episode encouraged your heart, please share it with a friend. Other women need to hear this. I encourage you to also download this week's free reflection guide, which is available on my website, thekristincampbell.com. It's going to help you break free from comparison once and for all. Until next time, keep your eyes on Jesus. Run your race. You're doing awesome. Be blessed. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. I hope you walked away a little stronger in your faith and freer in your mind. You are so loved. If you like this episode, share it with a friend. Leave your ratings and reviews, and engage with me on social media. I'd love to hear from you.